So it also makes us as a team, as the Love Letters team, think a bit harder about what song is going to go best with your letter. So, yeah. It's gonna be fun. And you can submit your letter to, this is testing me now, I need to try and remember what the email address is, dearcarrie@lambertjackson.co.uk. It's in the animation. It's either .com or .co.uk. I should have been more prepared. It's in the little animation on my Instagram, so go and check it out. But, I mean, someone has asked how long. Let's not go overboard, because there's a time limit to how long the show can be, so I won't be able to read out sort of like 3 or 4 pages worth of letter. But, a couple of paragraphs, 2 or 3 paragraphs. All of my letters that I've written so far for the show, some of them are literally like a few lines. I've kept it like short and sweet, and then other ones are like a page and a half. Also depends on how fast I can read and how fast I can talk. So yeah, I think a happy medium. Let's keep it just a nice happy medium. Let's not go overboard, because like I said, the show can only be so long. But also don't go too short, because I personally want to know why you have written your love letter to whoever or whatever you've written your love letter to. So yeah, I want some detail at the very least. I haven't finished writing all of my letters yet, because I get minimal time, but I am almost there. So we're still in the stage where Ben, my wonderful MD, has gone away to arrange all of the songs, because the set list has been finalised. However, like last year, we have more songs than we will be singing every night, because you will be picking the set list again. So I can't remember how many songs we sang last year. I think maybe I sang, see if I can remember. I think I sang 8 songs in Act 1 and 9 songs in Act 2. I think that's right. However, within the world of the show, we had, so what is that? That was like 17 songs, but we had about 21, 22 songs. So yeah, there's always a different configuration of songs every night. And there were 2 songs last year that didn't get a lot of love, and I was very sad about it. There were 2 songs. It was Screw Loose from Crybaby and Monster from Frozen. Just making sure the cat hasn't got a mouse. No, it's fine. And Monster from Frozen. They didn't get a lot of love last year. And the reason they didn't get a lot of love last year is because no one knew which songs they were picking. Because last year the tour was called an open book. And what people were picking were the names of stories. Hello, Edgar. They were picking the names of stories. So it was like a family fiction. Yes. Edgar, what's going on, mate? Come here. Come here. What's happening? What's happening? Come here. Say hello to everyone. Edgar says hi. So, yes, people were picking the titles of stories that were linked to songs, and they didn't know which songs they were linked to. And it will be much the same this year. So you won't know. I know, boy. Don't jump up. Well, you can jump up on the chair. Good boy. Okay. Or you can just jump up on the table, like I just asked you not to. That's fine. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. You do you. You do you. Edgar. Cats, man. Right. Come on. If you're going to be like that, you can sit man up. So, yeah. You won't know what songs you're picking, because you will just be picking the titles of letters. So yeah, I've lost my train of thought is basically what I'm trying to say. So I'm going to have a sip of my coffee and see if I can claw this back. So yes, hang on. Let me remember exactly what the email address, and by remember I mean look it up on my own Instagram, because this is where I'm at. Don't even know my own username. This is a really good start. I'm really pleased that I decided to do a live this unprepared. It's because I got my daughter down to sleep and went, oh, now's the time. Now's the time. I can do this. Edgar, stop it. Edgar, if you're going to be like that, come on. Stamp it. Stamp it. Go sit there. No, sit there. Boy, come on. Chill. Chill. I'm asking you really nicely, mate. Come on now. Bear with. I'm almost there. Desperate to get on this table and get like in the camera and to like talk to you. But yes, so I should probably tell you which venues we're doing, just in case anyone has missed. If anyone has missed the news that I'm going on tour in a couple of months, we are going to Guildford, Canterbury, London Palladium, Truro, Ipswich, Bath, Cardiff, York, Glasgow, Salford, Gateshead, Birmingham and Edinburgh. And we start on the 27th of September and we finish on the 15th of October. So I am very, very excited. There's some venues that we didn't go to last year. Like, I'm particularly excited about York, because I've not been to York since I went on a school trip when I was at school, a kid. And I'm excited to go and visit the York Ghost Merchants shop. Very, very excited by it. Because Joel got me a ghost, they make these little ghosts, and I got a little glass ghost. Joel got me one. And I think it's so cool, and I want to go and get another one. But yeah, I'm going to all of those venues with my tour, Love Letters. And the whole idea behind the tour is, obviously, it's about love letters, but it's not just about romantic love. I want to emphasise platonic love, the love of your friends and the love of your siblings and your family, but then also the love of the things that you show love towards, not just people. Like, I personally love musical theatre and books and writing and reading and Disney. And there's some sort of I don't want to give things away, but there's also some sort of more obscure things in there as well. Like, for instance, my Western Live performance, I wrote a letter which, part of it was going to be in the show, and then we've rejigged things around. So that particular, who that letter is to, or what that letter is to, is no longer going with that song, which means the letter needs to change. This is me giving away the behind the scenes inner workings of how we put these shows together. And by we, I mean me and Ben Van Tienen, who is the wonderful MD. He was the MD on the tour last year. He also arranges all of the pieces of music for the instruments that we use. Edgar just found a different way onto the table. Cool. And Ruthie Stevens, who is my director. And together, I think we've had about 4 or 5 meetings so far. Ruthie is currently working on Moulin Rouge. So, and we all have various different schedules and shows that we're all working on. Well, not me, I'm just being a mum right now. Edgar, come on, mate. Come on, mate. I know you really want to be involved. I do really understand, but also no. Yes, we all get together and for whole days at a time we sit. Most of them have been sat around this table of us having conversations initially about what the show is and what it's going to be and what we're going to keep from last year that worked really well and what we're going to change just to make it different and more fun this year, and you know, how the whole theme has changed and what that means for the show, and you know, we just throw out all of those initial ideas. And then the next meeting was figuring out what song. We basically then have like a shared Spotify playlist. Oh my God, I can't say that. We have a shared Spotify playlist where we would then put all of the songs that were potential songs. And we also then had to, it's kind of like what comes first, the chicken or the egg? Like, do you pick a song that you really like and then write a letter, like find a letter and a story and a, you know, a whatever that goes with that song? Or do you figure out who you're writing a letter to or what you're writing a letter to first and then find a song that fits it? There have been some that have been completely and utterly self-explanatory, where it's like, I want to write a letter to this, or I've already written a letter to this, and this song, like, it all kind of just came hand in hand, you know what I mean? I don't really know how to explain it. There are just some where the letter and the song just went, and there was no sort of pulling them apart. Someone just said, Carrie, could this have been an email? I mean, I don't have all of your email addresses, so no, my love. Sorry. You're more than welcome to not watch, though. There's always that option. You're 15. Can you submit a love letter? Of course you can. Of course you can. If you're coming to watch the show, by all means, submit a letter to whoever or whatever you would like to. I'm also waiting for some people to, like, write love letters to the people that they're coming with, which would be really sweet, because then it might be, you know, a bit of a surprise for the person that they're sat next to. You know, if their letter gets picked and the person next to them doesn't know that they've written a letter to them, and then all of a sudden they get, like, a letter read out about them and a song dedicated to them, that's going to be super fun. Can I send more than one? Of course you can. I would say, if you're sending more than one, make sure they're all different. Like, don't just send the same one over and over and over again, because chances are that will make us less likely to pick it. So yeah, if you're going to submit more than one, just make sure that they're different. But you're more than welcome to submit as many as you like. Why not? It's nice that you've got that much love to give. How do you submit? You write your letter to Dear Carrie at lambertjackson.co.uk. It's an email address, and you send them in that way. Someone said, can I send one even if I live in the US? If you're not coming to see the show, it's kind of pointless submitting a letter, because you won't be there to see it read out, if you get what I mean. Because when you submit a letter, if you put in the subject title which venue you're coming to, it then means we will pick, like, you know, we will segregate all of the letters into venues, just to make sure that, you know, you're coming to London, say, but you know, we've picked your letter for York. Like, just to make sure that doesn't happen, we're making sure that everyone's letters are congregated into the venues that you are coming to. So yeah. I'm excited by it, though. It's going to be fun to read all of the letters and to figure out which song goes with which. But yeah, as I was saying, the team, me, Ruthie and Ben. So yeah, we're now at a point where Ben has gone away to arrange all of the songs and is keeping me updated as we go, we've got like a WhatsApp group, keeping the team updated as we go, which songs he's done, and is sending over sheet music and like little tracks and stuff, and we're checking keys and whatnot, so I'm also having to have a bit of a sing at home to figure out, because some of them are like medleys as well. I don't want to give away too much, but we have some medleys as well, so figuring out how those songs all fit together, pardon me, and what keys would be best and whatnot, all that kind of stuff. And so whilst Ben's doing that, my job is also now just to write the show. And Ruthie's job is to have lots of conversations with the producers about set. We had a big Zoom meeting the other day with sound and lighting and set designers, our wonderful Johnny and Joe. And yeah, just having conversations about what the set's going to be like, and like extra props and stuff that we need, or like last year our set was a big writing desk with a chair behind it, and there were things like hidden in the drawers that I would use during songs. We had a sofa over one side, we had a big bookshelf in the middle, so it's kind of figuring out if there's anything that's going to be the same from last year, and if it is, what and why, and if anything's going to be different, what and why. Because it's someone else's job to source all of that stuff, so have to be like specific. So yeah, we still have about 2 months to go. Just over 2 months to go. Yeah, just over 2 months to go. So from now, once I finish writing my letters, and once Ben has finished doing the arrangements, we have a date to meet up in a couple of weeks, where we then start fine-tuning and honing and start piecing together. What's really hard about a show where you have a changing set list is doing a full run-through, because basically you want to be able to rehearse all of the songs, but rehearsing all of the songs means that you're doing... It means that I'm essentially singing the entirety of, like, the length of something like Les Mis, because I end up singing, like, between 22 and 25 songs. But you need to rehearse everything, obviously. But if you want to rehearse a legitimate show and figure out, like, running time... Like, I remember last year, Ruthie just ended up picking a random configuration of songs as if she was the audience doing the voting. So, yeah, it's tricky. So it means that you end up having to rehearse the shows. I mean, you rehearse the show a lot anyway, but within a kind of, like, short space of time, you have to rehearse the show a few different times, just to make sure that you've rehearsed all of the songs and within sequence. It's a bit of a... what's the word? I was going to use a very naughty term then, but I'm not going to use it. It messes with your head a little bit. And I remember last year when we were rehearsing, because it was called an open book. So instead of love letters, it was books and stories from, like, my life and my career. And in order to get used to where all the books would be hidden around the set, we all brought in, like, notebooks and just, like, random books, and then, like, put post-it notes on all of the books for which ones were which. And of course, in the rehearsal room, we didn't have the set. We just had, like, a random chair and, like, a random desk, and we didn't have a bookshelf and we didn't have a sofa, so we just put, like, 3 chairs in a row, and we didn't have any of the props where the books would be hidden, so we had to, like, write on the post-it notes where and what they were. It was but hey, it all pulled off in the end, didn't it? And it actually worked really well. And I think when you're trying to do something that's like not the norm, like have a changing set list every night. And you always have like doubts and worries that maybe you've bitten off more than you can chew, or maybe that it's just, you know, you should have just kept it simple, and I should have just, there were times last year when I was like, I should have just picked 20 different songs and just sung like 10 per act and not told any stories, or told like minimal stories, just stood in an evening gown and what I call park and bark. I should have just park and barked. I should have just stood there and sung the songs. But then when we were doing the show, I was like, oh, actually, this is so much fun. And to have the audience interact like that, to have the audience actually have a say in what gets sung, in a way, because they don't know what songs they were. And also to hear the audience's like reaction to the songs, because they obviously didn't know which songs were linked to the stories that they picked. So there were times when like I would finish my story and then go into the song, and the audience like audibly were like, oh, like it's that song, which was really fun. So yeah, there's things that just worked so well last year that really excited us and sort of made us all feel really like creatively fulfilled, that we were like, hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Let's take that and put this into this show. So yeah, I'm really excited to do it again. I do have that feeling again though, whenever I like, the same feeling I get when I go to write a new book, where I'm like, oh, I can't remember how to do this, or, you know, it's, you know, it's the fear of the blank page. That's what I'm trying to say. And not very coherently or very well. It's the fear of the blank page. It's knowing that you've done this before successfully and you saw it through to the end and the end result was good and you were happy with it, more than happy with it. But now you have to do it again and you're sort of like wiping the slate clean, and now it's like just, and go. And it's that sort of scary fear of the blank page again. So but the team is so amazing, the whole team, from the producers to the MD to the director to the sound and lighting to to stage management to like the band. It's such a great team, and I'm so pleased to be working with everyone again. Even like being on a Zoom call, oh my god, and the tour manager, Harry's going to kill me for not including him, because Harry who I spent the majority of the tour with last year, because he was the one driving me from city to city and was basically in charge of making sure that I got to the venue on time and I was in the right place every day. It was so great just to see everyone on the call and like the Zoom call the other day and be like, oh my god, it's like the old band's back together. So yeah, I'm very, very excited to be back on tour. And I'm excited to read all of your letters. I'm very excited for, not only will you be picking the set list again, but you will be writing one of the letters that's in the show. And I need to keep my emotions in check. This is the thing that I was worried about last year. There was a story that I didn't tell last year. Like, I remember sitting in an Italian restaurant with Ruthie, like way before we'd even like had full conversations about what the show was, and she was like, what kind of stories are you going to tell? And I'm like, well, there's this one story that I really want to tell, and told it to her, and I cried in the middle of the Italian restaurant, and I was like, oh, I can't tell this story because I cannot. It's not that I'm afraid of being emotional in front of people, it's that once I get emotional, my throat closes up, and you have to wait 45 minutes for me to calm down. I'm not very good when I'm emotional at all. So it's a story that I would have loved to have told, but just couldn't tell it last year. And now, since having a baby, my emotions are like all over the place. Like, I cry at the smallest things these days, so I'm not entirely sure. Even the even the stories and the letters that I've written thus far that aren't even that emotional, I get a little bit like, oh, when I think about saying them in front of an audience. So there might be tears, my friends. And if there are, I'm sorry. I cannot control it. Oh. I managed to rein it in at West End Live, though, because in the rehearsal for West End Live, which was like 3 days before the actual performance, I had written my letter but hadn't read it out loud because I'd just not had the chance. I'm very much involved in Mabel, my daughter, right now. So I wrote my letter and then sort of, read it through a few times, but didn't read it out loud and think about reading it out loud to Trafalgar Square. I was just like, yep, I've written this. I, read it sort of like every night up to sound check, and then got to sound check and read it out loud for the first time. And I was like, oh, I can't read this. I'm categorically going to be, I'm going to be a mess. And I cried through my sound check. And I felt like such a tit because I was like, why didn't I read this out loud prior to being here? Because reading it in your head is one thing. And when you're reading it in your head, well, when I was reading it in my head, I was reading it purely from does this make sense? Does, do these paragraphs flow on to, flow into each other right? Am I making the points that I want to make? Does this, will this come across well? Blah, 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 blah. All that kind of stuff. I was thinking about it from like a writing point of view and a storytelling point of view, not from will I be capable of reading this point of view? And the answer was no. The answer was no. But my point is that I held it together when it actually came to West End Live, and I had a mini wobble at the beginning, but I clawed it back. So maybe I'll impress myself on that front more than I expect. But yeah, I'm going to stop rambling. Mabel has done exceedingly well. I'm watching her on the monitor and she's out for the count, my friends. Thrilled. So I'm going to go and I'm going to carry on writing letters is what I'm going to do. But if you would like to write a love letter, and remember, it doesn't have to be romantic. It doesn't have to be to a partner or, someone that you love romantically. It can be to your mum, your dad, your auntie, uncle, a family member, a sibling. It can be to your favourite fictional character. It can be to a TV show that you love. It can be to a director that you're massively inspired by. It can be to a doctor that once saved your kitten's life. Like, it can be anything you want. And the more you think outside of the box, I think the more fun and entertaining and creative it's going to be. So yeah, and you can send them into dearcarrie@lambertjackson.co.uk, and if you put the venue that you're going to in the subject heading, we will know what venue you're going to be at, and we will know which venue to read your letter at. Really good use of the English language there, Carrie. So yeah, sending you lots of love. I'm going to go and carry on working on the show, and I keep looking over this way because this is where my stuff lives. I also have another pile of books somewhere over there. I've also got this one which I started the other day. So I'm fascinated by people's letters. Anyway, see you later. Lots of love.